Welcome to part 4, creating the virtual environment fast. This video targets those that already have experience creating virtual environments and don't want a deeper explanation into all of these steps that we're about to take. Now, if you have little experience with virtual environments or just want a much more thorough explanation into each one of these steps, then I advise you to stop this video and move on to the next video, which goes through these steps slowly and thoroughly. So go ahead and make your decision, and then we'll get started with step 1. So go ahead and open up a terminal, and we're going to cd into the project directory, which is where all the files are for the dashboard. So I've placed the course directory. Let's go there first, actually, in the DenderData courses folder, and then the course name. And let's list out the contents. So here are those 3 items we talked about in the previous video. I'm going to cd one more time into the project directory, and that's the location of the actual Python files and other files that are needed for this project. So once you're here, this is the location of where our virtual environment will be created, and we're going to create it with this command right here, which will run the venv module as a script, and then create a virtual environment called dashboard_venv. So I'm assuming that you have experience here, so you should know where this Python command is mapped to. Many of you will be in a Conda environment already, and that's where I am. I'm using the base Conda environment, which is fine. We're not going to use anything else in the base environment, just the executable for Python. If you're not in a Conda directory, then you just need to make sure this Python is mapped to at least 3.7 or above to ensure that the course will, or ensure that the dashboard will work. So let's go ahead and create our dashboard, our environment here. It'll be named dashboard_venv. And if I list out the contents, you can see there's the folder. So let's go ahead and activate it. You can actually deactivate your Conda directory like this. That's not a necessary step. So we've deactivated that. We're not in any environment right now. And now we will run this script inside of the bin directory, which is in that dashboard_venv directory, which is our virtual environment. So running this activates the virtual environment. So now I've activated this, and Python will map to the same version that it did before, which is the base Conda directory. But we're just, again, using the Python executable. None of the other libraries are in our virtual environment or are available. All right, so just to ensure that pip is upgraded to the latest version, we will upgrade it like this. And you can see it did make a small upgrade here. We're then going to install the wheel library, which helps install wheel binaries. That means binaries of other packages. So this is a helper package that will help install the actual requirements, which are coming up next. And so we installed that one. That's great. Now the actual requirements, and it might be good to actually look at these requirements right here. So these are all of the libraries with specific versions that will get installed in our virtual environment. Let's go ahead and run this command, and it will install all of them and their dependencies. There are quite a few dependencies, so there are quite a few more libraries than what you see in that file that will get installed. And while this is running, I'll just talk about the last 2 steps. These are not needed for the project, which is why, they're not needed for the dashboard. They're needed for the Jupyter notebooks. So for actually running the code for the course itself, not for the dashboard. So when we launch this in production on a remote server, we don't need these 2 libraries. We just need them for the course itself in the notebooks. So that's why we have them here. But the actual virtual environment for the dashboard only has these requirements. Okay, great. So we've installed all of the third-party libraries for the dashboard itself. We're just going to install Matplotlib, which will only be used in the Jupyter notebooks. And then this last one, Jupyter Dash, which will allow you to run the dashboard in the notebook. All right, and the very last dependency for the course. And there you go. So we've completed all the steps much faster than the following video, which might be helpful if you want a much more thorough explanation of each one of these steps. All right, so that's it for quickly creating the virtual environment.